So we continue with monopoly and monopsony. Today we're going to price discrimination. And when we talk about price discrimination, it simply means the sellers, they try to, it's a pricing strategy which allows sellers to offer the same products at different prices to customers, irrespective of what the cost is. So they're not putting into consideration the cost of the production, but they are putting into consideration different customers at any point in time. So it's all about the kind of customers they want to deal with. Then they decide the price through the kind of customers they have. So here, it is a pricing strategy where a seller offers the same product or service to different buyers at different prices without the cost-based justification for the price difference. So it's all about cost. It's all about offering different customers different prices at any point in time. So we have three types of price discrimination. We have the first degree price discrimination, we have the second degree price discrimination, and the third degree price discrimination. So we're going to start with the first degree. For the first degree price discrimination, it simply means we charge customers based on the maximum they can pay. So we look at these customers, we charge them based on the highest amount of money they could pay for that product. That is first degree. But this is mostly, it's difficult to achieve anyway. So I'm going to read further. First degree price discrimination. The monopolist charges each customer their maximum willingness to pay. This is difficult to achieve in practice. So for first degree price discrimination, the monopolist will charge you the maximum you could pay. So if they figure out that this customer can pay $20 for this product, they will charge him or her $20. Maybe charging the rest $7, $8. But because the maximum, the highest you could pay is what they're going to charge you. That is what we call first degree discrimination. I think it's clear. Then the second degree discrimination, the monopolist charges based on the quantity purchased. Here we're talking about discounts. So we charge you based on the numbers of goods you buy. So the more you buy, the less you pay. That is second degree discrimination. Do you get it, Liz?
Yeah.
Then the third degree discrimination means that the monopolists divide consumers into different groups and offers them different prices, maybe through income, location. So here you are charged based on certain specification. That is third degree. But all in all, a monopolist will still make profit because whatever it charges, it's able to put up all the consumer surplus to become producer surplus. Get the point here? We charge those that can pay the highest amount of money, we charge them. So the consumer surplus there becomes, we appropriate it to become a producer surplus. And to get the point I'm making here. So that is how price discrimination is about. Price discrimination is you setting or offering prices at different rates to different customers. We have the first degree, which is about charging the highest, charging a customer the highest he or she could pay. Second degree, charging based on the quantity you purchased, that's a result of discount. And the third degree, you put them into a different income group based on maybe location, based on the level of their income. You put them into a group before you charge them. That is all about price discrimination. So we'll go to the graphical representation after this. I think the point is clear, please. Okay. So the graphical representation of the price discrimination for the monopolist. So look at the graph here in figure 6. Are you there, please? Figure 6. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. But the graphical representation, a monopolist will be able to charge OB for OK. So a monopolist will be able to charge OB for OK. That is first degree price discrimination. The highest that could be paid here is OB. Are you seeing it? So a monopolist will be able to charge that point. The charging OB means what? That it can also charge OA for KH. OA for KH. Are you with me, please?
Yes.
Okay. Then this allows it to appropriate ABEG, which is the surplus now, which is supposed to be consumer surplus to producer surplus. So that is all about price discrimination. Do you get it or not? The highest that could be charged here is OB. So a monopolist will charge certain consumers at OB in the quantity of what? OK. Then we can also charge at OA in the quantity of KH. So charging this means whatever consumer surplus is here will be appropriated to producer surplus as profit. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So when the price, this allows it to appropriate ABEG for consumer surplus when price is OB. So at price OB, the firm will be able to make higher profits because the consumer surplus would reduce and now it will be appropriated to producer surplus. Any question about that?
No.
Good. So go to ways in which a monopolist could discriminate price. Are you there, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So ways in which a monopolist may discriminate. One, a monopolist may discriminate through timing. I want to talk about time. Here I wrote, a monopolist may charge different prices at different times of the day or week. Sometimes we have the off-peak period and we have the peak period. Even the communication companies, they might do it, Libiana, Mother, they might charge you different prices. They might charge you different rates in the morning and in the night, in the midnight. So that is about timing, which is price discrimination. Two, place. It may charge different price according to different locations for consumers. That is about location and place. And the third one is income. A monopolist may split consumers into income group. In essence, charging higher price to those with higher incomes and lower price to those with lower income. So we could also charge based on income level. So we split the income group, then we charge the highest income earners the higher price and the lowest income earner a lower price. Any questions about that?
No.
These are ways in which we can price discriminate. So that takes us to conditions of effectiveness now. Are you there, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Now go to conditions for effectiveness of price discrimination of a monopolist. So price discrimination is difficult to achieve. So what will make it achievable? A monopolist must meet up with these criteria or conditions. Number one, the elasticity of buyers must differ. What's elasticity? The degree of responsiveness between the quantity demanded of a product as a result of a change in price, right? So if that is elasticity, a monopolist will be able to price discriminate if the demand curve for consumers in that market are not the same. If the demand curve is the same, it means consumers are willing to pay the same amount of money, then you cannot price discriminate. Get the point here? One of the reasons why we could have one of the conditions for price discrimination is that the demand curve for all the customers in a monopolist market or in a monopoly is what they are not facing the same demand curve. It means it differs. So this implies that all buyers must have different responsiveness towards price. If all buyers have the same demand curve, a monopolist may not be able to price discriminate. If it's always about the same market price, then we cannot discriminate as monopolist. So it means the demand curve facing customers in the monopoly market must be different. So the first condition is elasticity. So the degree of responsiveness between consumer quantity demanded and the price must differ for all customers. And that is the only way a monopolist will be able to price discriminate. Do you get the first point here?
Yeah.
The second one, the monopolist must be able to split the market into distinct groups of buyers. It must be able to distinguish between those who are willing to pay a higher price and those who are not. So if you're going to talk about first degree price discrimination, it means you've analyzed the market, you've understood that, oh, these certain customers will be able to pay that price. If you are unable to do that, then it will be difficult for you as a monopolist to discriminate with price. The third one, the monopolist must be able to keep the market separate at relatively low cost. So it must be able to control the accessibility of buyers in different markets. If you want to price discriminate, it simply means high income earners. Let's assume you want to discriminate through income group. High income earners must not have access to the market where low income earners are. Because if they have access to the market that low income earners are, they will go to that market and buy and sell to high income earners too. So you must be able to check and balance things. You must be able to control the market in terms of who has what in terms of accessibility. Do you get the point here? So a monopolist must have sufficient monopoly power. This implies that customers charged with a higher price will not be able to switch to competitors. So in summary, if you are price discriminating as a monopolist, you must have what we call sufficient market power. Because if you don't have sufficient market power, those high income earners, those customers that are charged with a higher price might switch competitors. Because if you don't have the market power, it simply means they are competitors with you. So for you to be able to use price discrimination, it simply means you control the market. But if you don't control the market, it will be difficult for you as a monopolist to price discriminate. Any question about that? So these are the conditions that will make price discrimination effective. Is it clear? Good. So go to the price discrimination analysis of using the marginal revenue and the marginal curve. So price discrimination is marginal curves. By knowing the reservation price, a monopolist will be able to sell to each consumer at the maximum they are willing to that's greater or equal to the MC. This captures the consumer surplus. So for marginal cost, a monopolist will think about the marginal cost because it has to know the reservation for price. That means, how much are we going to be able to sell? Who are those that we can sell to at the highest price? So if we're able to know those we can sell to at the highest price, it allows us to be able to charge that price, and whatever we make there, because it's going to exceed our cost, the revenue will exceed our cost, then we'll be able to keep that or appropriate it to our producer surplus. Then for the MR, a monopolist earns a higher marginal revenue when its price discriminates. When its price discriminates, so it will increase its output and produce at the allocatively efficient level of output. For the marginal revenue, for marginal cost, you only need to know the amount of who can pay the highest amount of money, then you appropriate it. But for marginal revenue, there's always going to be allocative efficiency. So which simply means if you have splitted based on income group, high income earners will have their product available, middle income earners will have their product available, low income earners will have their product available. Then you charge them on these things. So that is allocative efficiency. So marginal revenue is all about allocative efficiency. But marginal cost is about who can pay the highest amount of money, which you can now appropriate your profit, your consumer surplus to producer surplus. For marginal revenue, it's about making revenue and making sure that each consumer group has the product available to them, allocative efficiency. But for marginal cost, it's all about knowing your cost, charging the highest price to the highest income earners, and being able to, appropriate your profits from their own consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is the amount consumers are willing to pay and the market price, right? So the demand curve, this is the highest they could pay. So whatever the highest they can pay, now they are paying it. So whatever is left with the minus the market price is what we call producer surplus now. Producer surplus, consumer surplus is market price minus the price consumers are willing to pay. So that producer surplus, you now take it to become, or that consumer surplus, you take it to become producer surplus. But for marginal revenue, it's all about allocative efficiency, which means 100 product for highest income earners, 100 product for lowest income earners, 100 product for middle income earners, and you make your revenue through that. Clear?
Yeah.
In summary, a monopolist is able to earn higher profits by charging different prices in different markets than it would earn if it charges the same price. So look at figure 7. Figure 7 is telling us that a monopolist will not be able to make higher profits if it charged the same amount of money in the same market.
Yeah.
So you have to discriminate the market if you really want to charge higher prices. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Now go to the cost and benefits. Cost and benefits for producers and consumers from price discrimination. So the cost and benefits for producers and consumers from price discrimination. Firms benefit from price discrimination because it increases their revenue. So for firms, the first benefit is that price discrimination increases their revenue, both in terms of MC and MR. In terms of MC, highest income earners are going to pay more. So those that have the ability to pay the maximum price will pay, and that increases revenue for firms. And for marginal revenue, which is allocative efficiency, goods will be made available for different income group, and all of them will be able to pay because they can afford it. Each group will be able to afford it, and that increases revenue. Do you understand the first benefit here? Then the second one, higher profits. Higher profits can be reinvested and improve dynamic efficiency. A monopolist, because of price discrimination, will make more profit, and that can allow it to diversify. That can allow it to invest more in technology, which will also increase its scale of operation. Do you understand the benefit there?
Yeah.
Now to consumers. Some consumers will be better off Who are those consumers that will be better off? Those that pay lower prices. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So compared to what could be paid in the because they're going to be paying a lower price compared to what they will be paying if the market is competitive. That is consumers that are going to be paying a lower price. Then some consumers will be worst off. Who are those that are going to be worst off? They're going to be worst off. Those that are paying the highest, the maximum that they are paying. They will be worst off. Why are they going to be worst off? They're going to be worst off because they will be paying a higher pay compared to what they are supposed to pay in a competitive market. Remember, in a competitive market, all consumers will pay the same price. There's no price discrimination in a competitive market. But in a monopolist, for a monopolist, it could use price discrimination. So that is why we said some consumers will be better off because they're going to be paying a lower price compared to what they're going to pay in a competitive market. Some consumers will be worse off because they're going to be paying a higher price compared to what they're going to pay in a competitive market. Is it clear? So these are the benefits and costs of price discrimination to a monopolist and to consumers. Any question?
No.
So go to efficiency of monopoly now.